And one thing that's really been hitting me lately, everybody talks about content compounding. And I was like, okay, yeah, compounding, got it. And that made sense. And then in the book, he was like, it's actually not the content that compounds, it's the audience, excuse me. And I was like, oh, okay. And all of a sudden, like everything else, like some of the areas that I was stuck on, all of a sudden started to make more sense. So
explain that breakthrough a little bit more. Like, what does that actually mean? Like content compounding, what you thought it meant to the audience compounding, break that down into like super, like explain it to a third grader kind of thing.
Yeah. So like when you post what do we call it? Well, I'm just going to call it a tweet. You post a tweet.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll break it down to like third grader level, and then I'll go into like the actual math and stuff behind it too. So like you put a post on X or Instagram. And what happens is like if you had like a chart, it goes and then drops off and tapers out, right?
Right.
Like within a day, right? And it's like, okay, so like how can you make a case for that content is compounding? Because it's not. Right? You have to do that every day. But what's interesting is if you do that every day, those spikes will get higher and higher and higher. And that's not because the content is compounding. The content is attracting an audience and the audience is compounding.
Yes.
It's like what Justin Welsh says, like the frequency of content increases your luck surface area.
Yeah.
Right. And so you get people who watched it, they liked it, they've now seen you, now they see another video or another post, they like that, they've seen you, and that's what builds. Right. Mm-hmm. Now the exception to that, which is I think is what throws people off, is YouTube. So if you post something on YouTube, like we've seen the chart where it doesn't go like this, it's really slow and then it can kind of hockey stick.
Sure.
Right. So people are like, oh, it's the content that's compounding. Well, that's not actually the case because what you're tracking is views. And so what does that mean? You're tracking audience. And the reason that the patterns work differently is it's because YouTube is at its core a search, right? So it's being put in front of you in a feed based on what you've been interested in the past, or it's, being searched, which means that it can compound and index higher based on searches over time. Any type of platform that has a news feed that goes from top to, or you scroll up and go down the feed, it's that action, that going down the feed is what makes it so that a video will take off and then dip down, right? If Facebook built Facebook and Instagram on more of a search function than what it had, and it had a page where just like YouTube, you come in and you see different videos, then it would also build. But because it has a vertical feed, that's why it does the jump. Right. Yeah, so that's like the reasoning behind it. So to me, understanding that what I'm trying to build is the audience, not the content, for some reason that just made it click that it's like, okay, it's different different metrics like impressions and reach and engagement are what I really need to be focused on. And, followers do have importance in that more than okay, it's all about the best content in the world. It's not about the best content in the world. It's about a balance between quality content that stands out to your market and building that market, So
absolutely,
that was kind of the revelation to me.
And so you've been applying this obviously into what you're doing. And again, that's what makes it easy for people like you and I to have conversation around the topic of content marketing as a whole, but more specifically into like organic on the social platforms, because this whole concept, this whole topic applies to all business and it can help everybody. If you want more content like this, make sure you follow because I've got plenty more coming your way. Peace.